Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to another episode of 101 with Courtney Starks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining me. I know you've seen my face all week. You're probably tired of seeing my face, but I welcome you. I thank you so much for just being a part of what makes this great. And today's guest. We've literally tried to do this 3 times. This is time number 4. But once again, I'm always excited to have on different people. The last time we were having this conversation, and unfortunately things happened. But I'm looking forward to this this conversation. Excuse me, I'm just trying to do this real quick. Give me 1 second, Jordan. Oh my God. So, sorry, y'all. Yeah, but, let me get her in. Hopefully today is a lot better, guys. I know. It can be insane. But let's see. Let's see how this goes. Oh, man. I got the opportunity to sleep. I got the opportunity to relax and to rest and for things that I have not been able to do the last few times. Yeah. So it was good. It was really, really good. But tomorrow I'm back on the grind. Tomorrow I'm back at this. I'm back at doing this, I'm back at my workout, I'm back at doing my exercise, I'm back at doing all these things. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I needed the break though. I definitely needed a break. Every part of my body was just like, or nah. You know what I'm saying? So I was a bit tired. I was actually very, very tired. But yeah, it's been a long week. That's all I can say. I think Alexis is in. Let's get her on. Hi again.
Hi!
How are you?
I'm better this time. I'm better. I'm sitting in one spot.
I hear you.
You know what I'm about to do? Let me go on and plug my phone up so we ain't got no kind of issues.
Oh my God, it was funny. First of all, I gotta tell you, I think in part your calling is in comedy. I have to tell you, like,
Really? I
oh
have
my
some
God,
people that would make the
you
difference.
you make me laugh, and now you have this puppy, and first of all, Blanche.
Stay high, Blanche.
Oh,
Blanche, stay high.
so before we even get to be finished or get started with whatever happened from the last time, what made you go out and buy a dog?
Do you know, Courtney, that was what I was on my way doing when you called me. And it was one of those, you got to strike not while you called me, when we were on live. That's why I was headed on the road to
Yeah.
go get her. And it was one of those, you got to strike while the iron is hot. Look at you do this, boo. She high.
Oh my God, Blanche.
She ain't got no clothes on. She naked right now. So, stay high, Blanche. This is not
You
about
you took her out the cage. I see.
I
Because,
did. And she's about to go right back because she was on punishment. Say, all right, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna let you play. I'm gonna let her be great.
oh my God.
I'm gonna let her be great. But
So I'm not an animal person. What type of dog is that?
she is a Yorkie Pom. She's actually my first dog as an adult. So this is quite an experience, for me. She's presenting a little bit of a challenge, but that's kind of the purpose of why I got her, to kind of get me on a schedule.
Yeah.
So she's doing her job.
Because at first I was like, oh, she seems so sweet and so nice. She's at the footing, she's at your feet every second. Like she's gonna be real quiet. And that was like a 360. Like
Yeah,
it was less than 24 hours.
She's feisty. She has her moments, you know, because she's only 10 weeks, so she's technically still an infant. So she goes between like really sleepy and just okay.
Yes. Like an actual baby.
Both loud.
Yeah. Like a real baby.
I'm happy to have Blanche as a new addition. So we've created a family because I'm real single, so it's just me.
Oh my God. We'll get to this love life thing, and maybe we can hook you up with somebody down the line. But we left off, man. I think the last thing we said to one another. So guys, for those of you who are joining in, welcome. This is Miss Alexiss Hollins. Welcome her to the show, everybody. We met. We spoke a little bit for yesterday, and we were talking about just her steps in getting on Sunday's Best. Her start as playing Patty in Neighbors from Hell and kind of meeting Tyler Perry and just kind of going through that experience. And then we left off on him yelling at you and kind of like getting you to the place where you were like bawling, and then your phone tased out on us.
Oh my God, you didn't get the end of that story.
No, the last thing you said to us was he was yelling at you, and then he asked you a question in regards to were you being yelled at.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. We were all just like, what?
Okay, well, let me go ahead and finish this story for people to be thinking, you know, he was yelling at her. Okay, well, no. He was yelling. His voice was, you know, definitely lifted, definitely raised. But during the course of him yelling and saying, you know, do it bigger, he says, all right, now do it just like that and don't scream. And so the other co-director came by and he said, you know what, she just doesn't get it. Every time she comes in the room, she sucks all the energy out of the room. And I'm thinking to myself, have you met me? Because, you know, I'm like at home, I'm usually like this. I'm super bubbly.
Right.
But, you know, when you're in such a high pressure situation, you kind of like lose yourself a little bit and you go into the mode of doing what you think you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Perry stops and he says, you know, no. He says, I don't think it's that she doesn't get it. He said, let me ask you a question. And the entire time while he was over me saying, do it bigger, I was together. I was like, yes, sir. Yes,
right.
Sir. Yes, sir. But he goes, were you raised in a strict household? And when he asked that, I just bawled like a baby. Oh. And, you know, I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see a girl who her entire life, you know, you've been told what to do. You've been told when to do it. You know, do as I say, sit down, be quiet. You know, you're a child, stay in a child's place. Do as I said. Yeah. And now I'm telling you to do something that comes natural to you. And you can't even do it. You can't even see how to do it. He said, Alexis, when I met you, I knew you were great. He said, I saw greatness in you from the first time I met you. He said, and here is greatness and there are you. All you have to do is reach out and touch it. All you have to do is just step forward and come get it. He said, it's okay to be great, Alexis. And then he goes, your entire life, the answer has been no. And today, the answer is yes. Yeah. When he said that, it just unlocked everything for me in that moment. And I don't even realize in that moment just how much it unlocked me. But like he said, all right, now, you know, give me a hug. He gave me a hug. When he said, the director said, do you want to, you know, start over? You know, you need a break. I said, no. So we took it around. They called action. And I went out there and I delivered my line. I said, Ruth, girl, now this is a nice house. And he was like, yes, that's it. That's what I want. And really, you know, Courtney, what I realized is I'm a vocal coach and I teach kids and I help kids, you know, get into I train them for this industry all the time. And one of the things that I think is so important for them to understand is that when people talk about the it factor, all the it factor is who are you when you're around people that you're comfortable with? Who are you around your family? Who are you around your friends? What are the things that makes people like love you? That is your it factor. There is no the it factor. It's your it factor.
And I think a lot of times we are scared of our own greatness because people are always telling us to know. You know what I mean? So
you have to change it. Or people are giving us so many things that we have to change and do differently, you know.
Yes.
Well, I like that, but have you considered doing that, you know? And it's like you get all these opinions and you don't know, like, should I do it like this? And then you watch other people and you're like, well, maybe I should do it like that. When literally trusting who you are and who God has created you to be, knowing that that's going to make room for you. And like, literally, it's not just words, but what's for you is for you.
Yes. And no one can take that away from you.
Nobody can take
no one. And I love that, because he's like, you're speaking into so many people right now, as well as myself. I know I dealt with that a lot. And even up until now, just kind of like dealing with those doubts, because you're looking at everybody else and you're like, well, maybe they'll want me if I do it like this. And instead of knowing that at the end of the day, as you said, if it's for you, God has already destined you for it. He's waiting for you to get to that moment and go through what you got to go through to get there. You know what I'm saying? So like, I like that, but we talked about this, I think, the last time, and how he already had you set to play Cora's daughter. You already supposed to play Darlene. You know what I mean?
I didn't know.
And you didn't know, but he knew. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, he already had a plan for you, but you had to go through the unlocking of who Alexis was to get there. You know what I'm saying? Now you said that moment was special for you. What was so honorable about just being in that moment with Tyler Perry? And how many shows did you have to do in those first
we did 3 shows, and we didn't tour, so it was just 3 shows here. Well, it was 3 days, so we might have done like 2 shows a day. I can't remember how many shows, but it was definitely 3 days of shows, and it went straight to DVD. That moment was just big for me because he is who he is.
Right.
And let me just go. The real A is I grew up on Madea. I grew up on Madea. The very first play I saw was I Can Do Bad All By Myself.
Right.
She was everybody know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
It was such a moment for me. And then like my family, we just grew up immersed in Madea, you know? And so that in and of itself was like a big deal, because you're like, wow, you know, okay, I want to do great, because, and I don't think it really hit me until you see everybody in the seats.
Yes.
You're like, oh my God, it's real, you know? But like, that was a big deal. And then you know who he is, you know, and you know what's at stake. I know other people that have worked for him. I know we all literally watched front row and center this man go from just a regular guy doing his, you know, what he wanted to do, to him like taking over the movies. And I remember that whole movement. And so to come in, it was in that place where I just was honored to be there, you know, and I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to lose this opportunity. Not only that, and probably most importantly, is I've been in this industry for a long time. I've worked with a lot of people. I've done a lot of different things. Yeah. And to meet someone who, and not only that, but I heard horror stories, you know, like, you gonna get fired if you mess up. You know, I just like, oh God, if I do anything wrong. But like, I was not anticipating him being so coaching. Like I wasn't expecting him to be so, and it wasn't even just coaching. It was almost like he's really spiritually in tune, and he paid attention and he honed into who I was, and he saw things that I didn't even realize and recognize about myself. And what an opportunity, Courtney, when I tell you, it is a rarity and it is a blessing that someone, just period, much like someone of his stature, would stop. He could easily have said, girl, this is not even a big role. I can get anybody here to do this. Get somebody else. He could easily replace me like that. Instead, he chose to coach me. Instead, he chose to pour into me, and he chose to say something to me that he didn't know how it was going to affect me. But he chose to allow God to use him in that moment, and that more than anything meant the world to me. And you would take your millionaire status, your time, and you would, instead of firing me, you would pour into me. What an honor. I'm changed forever. Like, yes, you know.
And and it brings me back to the moment where he was on the BET Awards and he was talking about helping other people cross. And I think of this moment.
It's very real for him. Very real. I tell people all the time, I don't care, because I've heard people say all kinds of things, especially earlier on in his career, about the type of person he is and what it's like working with him. I don't know what nobody talking about, cause
you are known for yourself, right?
He right where he look.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So
from the business to how he just is with people, I just love it. I love people who are honestly who they are at all times, and that is who he is. Mm-hmm. What you see is what you get.
And I know it's an honor to have worked with somebody with that caliber, but then you have to go back home and get back into this regular life, this normal life. Now, how was it kind of going back there? Because I know it's never the same. Once you kind of do that, your life is never the same. So going back, how was that for you?
Back then, for Neighbors, you know, y'all gonna look at me a little crazy, but you know, there's an idea. I think a lot of people are chasing this industry and entertainment because they have this idea that they're gonna do something and their life is gonna completely change. I'm sorry to tell some of y'all, your life ain't gonna change that much. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna change that much. I'm very regular. I pay my bills just like every other person does. It just happens to be that more people might know who I am than they might know who the next person next to me is.
But the rent still gotta get paid.
The rent still gotta get paid, honey, and I still gotta work for my net. You know, I gotta work for what I need. And so my life, honestly, it changed. It changed in the sense where I was changing. And I was doing things differently. I remember another playwright friend of mine said to me after I did Neighbors from Hell, he said, I don't know what happened to you there, but you are just, you done 180 degrees different. And so it changed how I approached my art. It changed how I saw myself and how I viewed myself, which would change the type of work that you get because your standard goes up. And so then people just kind of follow. And not only that, but it is good for your resume. Because when people see, you know, this, and they're like, okay, she might be able to do a little something. So your life changes, but it doesn't change quite as dramatically as I think people think. You know, it's not quite as dramatic. It's very little bits of changes. And then what you do with those little changes and
how they affect your life.
Opportunities. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I know even before you got into this role, singing has always been something that you've done regardless, right? So like, I think some people, you know, they get into these things, they get these opportunities, and then they want to go make an album. Now you know what I'm saying? With reality, and then reality is like, no sis, go back to that one-bedroom apartment because
just hold on, just wait, okay? I didn't say no. I just said not today. All right.
But it's the reality. You know what I'm saying? Yes, your who you are perceives you at the end of the day, which then down the road led you to this new role that's coming up. But sometimes you gotta remain humble and know at the end of the day, that's an experience for a later time in your life.
Well, you always have to remain humble because the fact of the matter is, take what's happening right now. You know, with COVID, I don't think anybody, especially people in our line of work in entertainment, we never imagined that something would come and halt everything. And so a lot of musicians and a lot of artists and entertainers and actors, and if you're in the entertainment industry, you're in the arts, you're basically living for your next gig. More often than not, if you do this consistently, you're probably you're a contractor, which means if you don't work,
you won't get paid. Right.
You don't get paid, period. So, you know, throughout the years, there were a lot of adjustments that I had to do because I knew the type of lifestyle that I lived. And I had to make a decision like, okay, if I know that this is what I'm going to make doing this, am I okay with that? Yes or no? And if I say yes, then what am I going to do so that I can do what I want to do but still live? And in order to make that happen, that meant I had to be uncomfortable and I had to make adjustments. I had to go live with people. I had to go, you know, not necessarily ask for favors, but ask for favors and be a little, like I said, uncomfortable just so that I could do the thing that I said I wanted to do most, which was sing and which was act and which was entertainment, you know? Honestly, you know, you can't just be, I mean, I did it now. I did it, but you can't just be, you know, going to work a full time. I'm a certified medical assistant. So in the medical field, you got to be there all day, every day. And so like, oh, hey, sis, I got to go on tour for 5 months. No, it's like, girl, if you on tour for 5 months, you fired.
You fired. That's it. Right. So like really kind of honing in on what it is you want to do and knowing how to kind of maneuver all these different things, you know, that's happening. So you did that. You went dark on me just now. I don't know if a light.
I know, I just saw that. I don't know what happened. Where'd I go?
I don't know if did one of your lights, did your light on your phone go out or something?
I don't know what it do. Can you
I can see I can see you. It's just that it's a little darker, which is weird.
It is dark. It is weird.
Yeah. Hopefully it fixes itself. I don't know what your phone be okay.
Oh wait, hold on. Maybe.
Something's coming back. Some type of light. Yeah. We're here.
I don't know, honey. Let me just turn my little light on. I'm about to be sweating again, but it's
oh
okay.
my God. Yes. So you played Patty, you met all these amazing people, and then you go back to medical assistant, you go back to doing what you got to do.
Let me tell you, for Neighbors from Hell, I'm not going to tell you the lie that I told, but I had to tell a good lie to leave work for 3 weeks and be able to come back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Good lie. So y'all need to know out there, if you watching, I ain't encouraging you to lie, but I had a good job though. So you know, you got to make choices.
Yes.
I was just praying that nobody in that office liked Medea. I was like, please don't come to this show. Come to this show and cook goose.
And see this lady up there with this wig on and this red dress.
You're like, wait a minute, you said so and so died. I thought,
Man. So you have this experience, you go through this experience, you go back home. Now, how was life like?
After Neighbors from Hell, it was fine. It was regular. You know, I was working with Monica. You know, I was background singing with Monica for about 5 or 6 years. So I was doing that consistently. And I was really just doing whatever, and it sounds crazy, but doing whatever I could. You know, taking whatever jobs I could take. And I've only been out of the workforce since 2016, which is a blessing because that's what, 4 years?
Yes. Yes.
But you know, another good thing to tell people who are really trying to do this for real, and you are kind of juggling your 9 to 5 with, you know, this kind of all over the place world, build relationships, because for the last part of my the last year that I was working a regular 9 to 5, the reason why I was able to travel so much and do so much is because when I went in, they knew what was up. Right. You know, they knew this is what I do for work. And sometimes I'm going to have to be out on these days, you know, and that's sometimes a scary conversation to have with an employer, because you're like, if I say this, they're not going to hire me. But sometimes honesty is the best policy because people respect. And not only that, but if they're a fan of the person you're working for, you know,
they're going to give you a little slide. They'll give you a little slide. Yeah.
I mean, they'd be like, oh, what's that?
Man, so, you know, people don't realize just how well-rounded you are. And not only do you sing, not only are you a well-known actress, well-known actress, but you also are an amazing fashion designer and an artist. First of all, I knew about the fashion, but I know you draw. Like when I saw you doing these pictures in these doodles, I was like, wait a second. Wait, just let me back up for a minute here. You draw too? What don't you do? You know what I mean?
I'm creative. I like to create. I love to create. I've always very much been a DIYer, like do it myself, like anything. I love to watch how things are made. I love, and honestly, I wanted to do a lot of things like modeling and acting, and all the things that I'm doing now are all things that I've wanted to do ever since I was a kid. But because I sang, that was the only thing that people expected. And it was the only real thing that I was, you know, the opportunities were coming from, because I just was really good at singing. So it was like, if you say you're good at something else, people are like, okay, that's cute. But
but we want you to do this. Yeah. Like they put you in this box and they try to keep you conform into this box. But see, you fight your way out. And you're like I told you the other day, you need a show. You need a show because you are so vocal. Have you always been that way? Or was it like a point where you're just like,
maybe at home I've been more vocal, but definitely I've become more confident in, like, look, because I've been through a lot. I've been through depression. I've watched people, like my aunt was in this industry, you know, and to watch someone lose their mind, you know, to see what could happen if you do not take care of yourself and if you do not protect your person while you're in an industry like this, that's only job is to really take from you, like, period. You know, like, that'll do something to you as a person. And I had to fight my way out. Like, once I got through depression, like, that was a really, really low, crazy time for me. And once I got through there, I was like, you know what? Forget it. That's the right way of saying it. Forget this. I'm just going to be myself, because honestly, it's way more work and way more stressful to try and please everybody. And it's an impossible job. I cannot make everybody happy. And not only that, but I've always kind of been a little bit of a rebel. I don't like doing what everybody else is doing just because everybody else is doing it. And in this industry, I'll never forget when one of my label owners, they sat me down and was basically saying in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, but you should take the stuff that comes to you and the things that happen to you because you're an artist and this is your job. You don't have a choice. So even if something is wrong, even if you're hurting, and even if you're angry, you're not allowed to show it. You smile. You put a smile on your face. And I just couldn't.
Like, that is toxic as fuck.
It is very toxic. It's very toxic because, first of all, I was a gospel artist. So if we're not here to introduce not just Christ, but this idea of life, love, happiness, joy, peace, like, if all this stuff we're talking about, but I can't be myself.
Right. Then what's the purpose?
You want what I got, but you don't want me. And that was a really tough lesson to learn. And then when you start learning all the other stuff that's connected to it, you know, you're like, you know what? I am not about to be quality of this industry just because somebody else wants to play nice. Right. Somebody else wants to be like, they want to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be wholly and completely honest about who I am, because I'm not this ugly, crazy, angry, mad person. I'm full of life. I'm full of love. I'm full of joy. And I'm full of a lot of information and wisdom. But I also am going to let you know
about yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the truth. That's the transparency of it all. And I love that you're bringing this up, because a lot of people only see what we show them on Instagram, what we show them on social media. And a lot of it isn't transparency. A lot of it is bright light, beautiful pictures, filtered pictures. And then people like you who are in this industry, they already hold you to a pedestal. So then to see you broken and see you vulnerable, they're like, oh no, we need what you had before back. Like as if you're not human. Like as if you don't fall.
Like you're a robot.
Right. And people
that's why a lot of these artists, they are on drugs and they are committing suicide and they're doing these crazy things because that's not real life. You like that is the enemy. Like that's a lie. Yes. I can't like, and how can the world fully be in love with me if they can't see themselves? Because other people feel flawed. You know,
yes.
I work with a lot of people and people feel inadequate. They feel like I don't have my stuff together. So why would I dare stand here as somebody who people look up to and pretend like, yeah, everything's all right, when I know I just got finished crying my eyes out because I don't know how I'm going to make my rent. And then everybody thinks I'm this famous, glamorous person, and how am I going to be able to show everybody? I'm like, I have no time for all that pressure.
For all that, it's too much work.
Full of its own pressure. So
yes, it's right, and you ready? Right, your days are already numbered, and in those days you're already told that it's going to be full with trouble. Why add on more trouble that's not even yours to begin with? That now you done took on from somebody else.
Period.
You know what I mean? And I love that you said and I love that you said that you minister. You know, and one of the things that even in doing this and kind of like my climb and kind of getting to where I'm at is learning to stay prayed up, learning to stay transparent to myself, and knowing when to say no. Have you ever gone through like, listen, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry. I got to back out of this, because there's certain opportunities that come your way that's just not for you.
When I when on my label, when we were on our label, my cousin and I were signed to a label. It got to a point where I said, this is not going to work for me. Not going to work for me. Not for Alexis. Not today. We tried it and it didn't work. And you know, when it gets you to a point where you feel like, and this is going to sound so deep, when you feel like you got to sin against somebody, whether it's, You know, I found it where certain people would be certain places, and I'm like, I want to go, but I ain't going because you know, they there. You changing your life around. You changing things that
Right.
you're doing because of your and because of animosity that you're feeling towards someone. It's not worth it. If it's got you feeling angry, and if it's got you feeling like you want to do something crazy, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it move on, because this idea that was, and then I knew it was a lie, you know, the idea that you have to be signed to a label in order to be successful. Like, I knew that those things were lies.
Right.
But you kind of find, and like me, I find myself in situations where people are like, I think this would be good for you. This is what you need to do. You have so many people telling you what you need to do about your life.
About your life.
You often forget,
it's my life. It's my life.
Right. Like, when I said, when I was first, you know, introduced to being on the label, I said, I never really wanted to do that, but okay. You know, it was kind of like one of those things I just was like, all right. And then you find yourself, I'm the type of person where I commit myself 100%. You find yourself committed, but then you find out in the long run that and they looked us straight in our face, and I will never forget, you are a product. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what you feel. Nobody cares what you have to say. You are a product, and you do what we say. And I knew that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for me. Right. And I knew that wasn't okay for me. And I knew that I might be losing some things, but it wasn't worth my peace of mind. Nothing that anybody on this earth can give me is worth my peace of mind. Right. So I had to make that decision and say, after a couple of years of dealing with it, you know, I finally had to speak up and say, I'm okay. I'm good. I don't think I want this anymore. Let's move on. But typically, I do my best to not say no. I typically do my best to really pray about, like you said, stay prayed up and pray about things that I'm, you know, doing, and asking God, like, is this right? If I'm not sure. Typically, he's shown me a lot of favor, where most of the opportunities that I've gotten have been just kind of, I haven't really had to say no too much. Right. To be honest. Yeah.
And see, and that's amazing that, like, God sometimes will keep you on this path. Like, you prayed about this, girl, so now I'm bringing this your way. So let's go for this ride. You know what I mean? And in this journey that you had now this opportunity to give back to young people, which I love seeing on your posts every day. I gotta tell you, and I have a game we're gonna play a little later. But when that little girl sang "Crazy," I threw my shoe at let me tell you something. My shoe was hitting that TV screen so hard because I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. When did you start doing that? Because that's motivational and inspiring in its own right.
Well, I started working at AGI. AGI is where you guys typically, like where I'm at when you guys see those videos. I started working, at AGI like 7 years ago. And I've been trained vocally, but I was not trained as a vocal coach. Right. And the woman who owns it is one of my mentors. She's the mom of a really good friend of mine. And she just called me. She was like, oh, Alexis could sing. Tell her to come, you know, teach the girls the song or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. It's just fine. I went in there, caught a cab there, did not know what I was doing. But they had me in a room with 3 girls. And there was one girl in particular. There were 2 girls that were just like singing all over the place. Like, you know, doing it. Right. And then one girl that was, I would like to call the underdog. She wasn't really singing too much. She had the look, but didn't really have the voice. Right. And I remember just naturally honing in on her, because my thing is, I'm very much a problem solver. I don't need to worry about the 2 that got it. I need to worry about the one that doesn't. That don't, right? You know? And so I honed in on her naturally. And by the time we were done, I think we had like a 2-hour session. This girl was singing, like singing to where you can hear, this girl's got potential. Like, she can, if she want to do this, she can do this for real. Yes. Years later, I'm in tears because she is just singing herself down and performing and she's just evolved into a completely different person. And it really set me on fire. I was really, really intimidated at first, because you always feel like you don't know what you're doing if you don't have, you know, credentials on paper. But you find your gift. You find where you fit in. And my gifting when it comes to vocal coaching is very specific. Right. I've been at AGI for about 7 years. I love it because you just never know what you're going to get. And as the company begins to grow, the talent it's like the talent is just getting even crazier. It's
Yes.
like, where are you kids coming from?
Yes. Like what planet? What planet were you born from with these vocals? But
No,
what
really.
what components and like tools are you giving? Do you give the younger? Like how do you break down and kind of hone them in on what they should be learning, how to be better? Like what critiques do you give them? Because all the ones I see that you post, I'm just like, whoo! I cannot whoop 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 like that at all.
Well, they get on me. They get on me at AGI. Well, they used to get on me. They don't get on me as much because I think, you know, when you really start seeing somebody's gift, you're like, okay, this is where she really shines. I'm going to let her do her thing. But they have to come and like move me along sometimes because I take my time with people. Right. So with this, the latest boot camp that we have, you know, you'll have maybe 10, 15 people in a class. And you only have an hour to get through everybody. So you have to find a way to maximize that time. And basically my method to working with people is I listen to them and then I give them my feedback and tell them what I think and how I think I can help them. And then we go in and we attack the song and we do it line by line. We take it from the beginning and then I'll hear what you do. And then I'll give you feedback on what I feel like you could do. Let's try this. Oh, that sounds good. So it's really just paying attention and really kind of customizing the session to whoever I'm in front of. Right. And I've honestly never had an issue. I gravitate. I love big singers. I love singers that can sing. Okay. But I absolutely love the underdogs. Right. I love the ones who come in and be like, I can't do it. Or the ones where I've had other teachers who are like, oh, I cannot teach them. Please. Right. I don't have the patience. And I'm like, oh, give me. And I just, because I'm such a problem solver, I want to figure out what's going on. And I've never had a moment where I couldn't execute. Like, I'm just telling you, there are times when I hear people sing and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how in the world I'm going to help them. But I know I'm going to do it. It just happens, you know? Yeah. So I love it. I love what I do because I know that a lot of what I do, especially now as I get older and I walk in more confidence with it, God is using me. He is, because people are changing and I don't even like, it's changing me, you know? Right. Like it's an experience. Because you grow along with this process. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you know, I love that I like the flowing thing. You said the word God is using me. Well, he then used you again to go into this new play with Medea's Farewell, right? How did that stem back up into your life? Because it's been some time.
It was some time.
It was some time. Like,
listen, we had to go through.
It wasn't even with the watch, you know what I
mean? I mean, the funniest thing. I have like the best stories, but I gotta like get them together. So the funniest thing was that happened in January. The year before that, I had been trying almost all year to get this job on this cruise line. And trying. Finally, audition, took out a leap of faith, auditioned, and ended up getting the job. So because I had been working so hard for it, I was just, oh, honey, I was so excited. So I was to my stuff, had to learn over 200 songs to go sing, you know, make $1,000 a week. And I'm like, yes, you know, what I was dealing with, I needed that little
right.
I was like, you know, I can travel the world. I'm single. I was going to have my little eat, pray, love moment. I was so excited about it. Had to go to Nashville. So this is in November. I went to Nashville to practice for about 2 weeks, and I was set to leave the Mexican Riviera up and down on December 16th. So about December, I got to Nashville about 2 weeks before that. About December 12th, I get a phone call, text message from a good friend of mine, Dathan, who was also in Neighbors from Hell.
Yes. He was also in Sunday's Best, the winner.
Yes. And he goes, Mark Swin wants to know, he's trying to get in touch with you. Mark Swin is one of the the co-directors of pretty much all the Tyler Perry plays, and he does everything with Mr. Perry. But he goes, Mark's trying to get in touch with you. I said, honey, I said, what do you want? This via text. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I think he wants you to audition for something. And, you know, when you frequent this industry, you kind of learn how it works. Yeah. You know, like, and I was just like, you know what? I said, tell him tell Mark I am on my way out of the country for 4 months. I do not have time. I'm leaving. I don't know what to tell you. He said, are you sure you want me to tell him that? I said, yes, honey, I'm good. So
oh my God.
In my hotel room, and I'm getting this call from this weird number from this old phone that I used to have. And I'm like, who is this? So I called the number back, and they're like, hi, thank you for calling Tyler Perry Studios. And I'm like, oh, y'all trying to call me? So this is Alexiss after me. She said, hold on 1 second. She immediately knew who I was. She transferred me to whoever she transferred me to. And I said, I think you guys have been trying to get in contact with me. I've been getting phone calls from this number. He said, yes, we're trying to get you to audition for this part. And I was like, okay. So long story short, he sent me the sides. The guy who I was my rep, he sent me the sides. He said, we would like for you to come back to Atlanta. And I said, look, I'm on a job.
Right.
That I worked hard to get on.
Right.
Tell
$1,000 a week.
I would love
$1,000 a week.
But I can't just come home. So he put Mrs. Swin on the phone. And Mrs. Swin said, I don't want you to leave a job. I said, no, listen, every time I work for Mr. Perry, it changes my life. So I would love this opportunity. I just can't come back to Atlanta to audition. And he goes, okay, well, fine. Go do the audition, record it, in your hotel room, and then send it to us.
Right.
So the next night, I went to my hotel front desk. I said, hey, if you hear any hollering, just give me 15 minutes to sing. And did I freeze? Because it looked like I froze.
You froze. We can hear you, but you froze. We can see you now.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
We see you.
Hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, if you hear nothing, I said, if you hear some singing, just, give me 5 minutes. I said, okay. So I went in there, recorded it, did everything, sent it by the time they asked. The next day, I was standing on Beale Street, and I got a phone call, and they were like, we were going to give you another part. No, they called me at the last minute and said, hey, audition for it. I said, okay. And I didn't know who these people in the play were. Audition for it. He called me the next day. He said, you got the job. And I'm like, what? Like, really? Still didn't know who I was. So went on 2 weeks on the cruise. I did get to experience that. I absolutely hated it. It was just, thank God he rescued me from it. Went back immediately when I got back to Atlanta, went straight to rehearsals. And when I came in the rehearsal, saw everybody there, went and sat down. I noticed where my seat was, and you gotta tell where your seat is. Tell who you're playing, who your part is based on your seat.
Yeah.
And then I saw my seat, and I saw who I was sitting next to. I think I was sitting next to Miss Tam or somebody. I was like, okay. I'm so close to the front row. And so you got to read through your lines. So we're reading through the lines, and as I'm reading through my lines, I'm like, I got a lot of lines. And then I find out as we're reading the play, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm your daughter, your granddaughter. This play is about me.
Yes,
so,
Lord.
when I tell you, it was, and what's crazy, Courtney, I got so many calls from my friends because they had actually gone and auditioned for the roles. And everybody was like, you got it. I auditioned for this. And it's just crazy because it's like, I didn't have to audition. I auditioned, as a, just so that things could be in line. But he had already decided this is who I want. And I want to see what maybe because it's been a few years, I need to see what she sounded like now, what she looking like.
What she looking like, yes. Where are they now?
I did not go for it. It came for me. And the timing couldn't have been any better. It was amazing.
And we speak, and it's funny, guys, that I'm bringing this back up because we just spoke about Neighbors from Hell and the time that passed. But your personality, your traits, who you are, perceives you. And God's timing is not our timing, y'all. It's not.
Right.
And that doesn't mean it's going to be tomorrow or the next day. Years.
That's right.
Look at the years. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact that he already knew in his mind that you were Cora's daughter before you knew you would be Cora's daughter is God. I don't care what
people, he tried to foreshadow, and I don't think he knew back then. I think he just noticed because even when he had that Cora Light moment,
Cora Light thing, it
was on stage. It was in that moment. It was literally in front of the audience that he's looking at me, and he's like, you know who you look like. And I was like, no, you know, I was not even thinking. You
Right.
know what I mean? I totally didn't even consider it. So it is a testament to you really don't know from 2013 to 2019, like how I could not have pinpoint. I couldn't have planned it better myself. Like it was just out of this world.
How was this because now it's more shows, it's more having to do the same character but recreate her every time, Darlene. So how was it this time? Because now it's not 3 shows.
It was hard. One of the hardest things that I have ever done in my life, but it was honestly one of the most rewarding. I am so free. The person that you guys see right now, I wasn't even this person back then. I wasn't even this person a year ago. No, did I freeze again?
We can always hear you, but we can just, you're seeing you, froze up. Now we can't.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you really well, but to see you, you're stuck in this hole, which is so funny. Good. You're good. You back. You're back.
Okay. I'm afraid to close my windows because I feel like it's gonna knock me out again. Now, what was the question you asked me? Because this done took me all out.
I said, how was the process this time? I know it was a lot longer. You had to recreate Darlene, but to do it like this, how many times? How was that? Because I know it's grueling.
It was definitely hard because acting is not my first. It's not what I do best.
Right.
Singing is what I do best, and because I had such a huge role, like such a historic role, and such a solid role, and such a very like active role. I was on stage the entire time. I never left. So, you know, to be in this for somebody to being pushed in the front, like, hey, you're the star, so act like it. And it was definitely a transition for me because I'm such a servant. I've always been the person that's helping other people do their thing. And so for things to be about me, it always kind of makes me a little uncomfortable. So I never saw myself as the star of anything. I just wanted to do well. And I knew that there was a lot that was being it was, well, how do you say that? There was a lot that was people were counting on me, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and he made that clear. And he was very honest about that. He told me, Mr. Perry told me, you know, he's like, you know, in the beginning, he was like, you're not carrying this role. I don't know what it is. And it was like, he saw something in me, but because I was thinking about it so much, I was still in my play. Here's something, you know, God will know that you're ready for something before you know you're ready for something.
Yep.
You know, and I didn't feel qualified. I didn't even see it. And he was still affirming me. He would still pull me to the side. And I'll never forget, even this time around, you're worthy. You deserve to be in the room, Alexis. You know, he relayed with me. He related to me by letting me know, you know, he's dealt with the same situations where when he made it, he felt like he was inadequate in the room with certain people.
Yeah.
You know, but then he had to begin to see himself in a certain light, and him trying to impart that into me. The same with Miss Cassie, the same with Miss Tam, the same with everybody. You know, it was just honestly a really supportive cast. And I just tend to overanalyze. So the first run, I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, but I definitely was just I was enjoying it, but not from the sense that I think most people would think enjoying it looks like.
Yeah.
I was taking it all in. Now the second run, that was a lot more fun because by that time I had a little more of a grip on who Darlene was. I knew how to tell that story. And the other thing is there's a difference between being an actress, you know, well, not just an actress, but you can be on one set and people will love it and be on another set and people will hate it.
And people will hate
you know
it, right?
I mean? So it's like for Mr. Perry, a lot of his acting in his plays is different than acting in his shows.
Right.
So there's a different type of energy that they want. And I was thinking about that too much. So I'm not going to lie. The first run, I was definitely in my head a lot. Not that I wasn't doing great. I just didn't have as much fluidity on stage that I did the second run.
The second time.
Yeah, the second run, it was a lot more free. Not only that, but when we first came back, they had like they recorded all of the shows just to kind of, I don't know why, but not for official stuff.
Yeah.
They had their own, recordings. So we got to see, a quick little recording of it. So to see myself back, it was a totally different, like, it's totally different than being on stage.
Yeah.
And the stuff that people are saying, hey, you should do this, you should do that, that doesn't necessarily feel right on stage. When you see it, you're like, dang, they was right. I should have did that. So that helped because you can see, you get an idea of what the audience is seeing, what the audience is, you feel like you're doing something big, but
and the audience is seeing something completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a help. And just like I said, the second run, I was just excited to get back out there. He gave me some really good advice
Yeah.
that honestly helped me. It helped me. That's why I'm so free now. Free. So,
and I think also too, even during your journey, just learning to stop getting in your own way. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times
you gotta stop thinking and just do it.
Yes, I think a lot of times, and that goes for life. Like a lot of times, He already placed it there. It's already yours, and you're just like, but God, this can't be real. This can't be real. Like, what is this thing? And God is like, you prayed for this. You screamed, cried, and bled, and all it for this, and it's here. Embrace it, love it, enjoy it, take it in. You know what I mean?
The other side to that, though, is it may not be something that, like, many were called, few were chosen. And there are people on this earth that are chosen to do very specific things.
Yes.
And singing isn't necessarily something that I'm like aspiring to. I'm not aspiring to be a singer. I plan on releasing some music, but that's fully because I know that there are people who want it, you know, and I want to put something into the earth, not because I feel like I want to be this artist, but it was a testament that when God has something for you to do in your life, He's going to make it happen.
That's right.
You are either going to show up or you're not. You know, like, I didn't ask for this opportunity. It came to me.
Yeah.
So not only was it a blessing to me, but it's also a responsibility for me.
Yeah.
So you have to show up. You have to show up because you just don't know what you showing up and doing what you were called to do, how that's going to set other people free.
That's true.
And that part, that's not, obedience is all He wants. Show up.
That's it. And leave the rest to Him.
Period.
That is it. Period. Well, we're going to play a little game with you. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on the Terrell Show. We're going to play Song Association with you. Okay? So, these are some words you should know. I try to make it as easy as possible. So, it's either going to be, you can either be in the title or the lyrics of the song. Okay? You ready?
I don't think I've ever fully watched this game before, so I'm going to try if I get it wrong, though.
All right. The first word is open. Come on now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh!
So churchy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Yes, Lord. It got real hot in here, didn't it, y'all? Yes. Second word. Crazy.
Oh, why would you do me like
Of
that?
course. I had to.
Oh, okay. Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted.
Yes!
I wanted to go to I Remember When, but I had to like switch.
I was waiting for you to do something. I remember when. I didn't want to stop you. I knew you would
set it up, but I remember when. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions had an echo. So much space. so much space within you out there without a care. Yeah, I was out of touch, but it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Oh, does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
No.
Ow!
No. I was all in the field.
That was Apple's fault.
Next word is down. Down. D-O-W-N.
Down. Down. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brother, let's go down. Come on down. Oh, sister, let's go down to the river to pray.
I was waiting for you, some Mary J. Blige. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it. And the last word is
trying not to do, baby. Are you down?
Last word is look.
Look.
Come on now, you just did it. You just did a song with the word look in it. Come on.
Look. Ooh, look. I don't know. Give it to
Come
me.
on, because we're in some uncertain times right now. That's the new word, uncertain times.
Look.
Come on. Because
I can't think of it.
God, I look to you. You're where my help comes from.
I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me wisdom to see things like you do. God, I look to you, for you're where my help comes from. Give me vision, for you know just what to do. Yeah.
Woo! Yes! Alexis!
What's so funny is I spend so much. I said people are probably so annoyed with me because if you come to my page because I sing, I rarely sing on your my page.
Yes.
Not like most singers. Most singers, you know, they constantly have videos of them singing, but I sing around the house, but I don't. I don't
Oh, first of all, that has made my whole week. I've had so many guests on, but this has made my week. If you have a message or anything you want to say to these young girls out here right now who are just trying to emulate who you are, what would you have to say to them?
Well, I would say, I was reading some of these comments because you put that they can ask questions, but I didn't look at nobody's questions.
They didn't put nothing in the box, so I let it go.
See nothing. Hold on, I'm trying to get y'all right. Those of y'all who watching,
I didn't see no questions.
Okay. Not just young women, but you want me to be specific about the young women? Okay, young women. Let me think. Relax. Tell my young ladies, relax. You know, don't let what you see on Instagram, what you see on social media be your guide.
Yes.
Don't let that be your like, oh, this is what I seen, so this is what I should do. This is what this is what they do, so this is what. No. You have to really pay attention and you have to really listen. And I know this is kind of a hard thing to do, but try to find people that are like you. Try new things, you know, like be honest with your friends. If they like, let me just leave it at that. Be honest.
Yes.
Be honest about everything. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what you don't want. Even my friends, like I got a good friend, I ain't gonna call his name, but he know, like, You don't, no. You ain't about to be confronting me about, you know, like he would do certain things on the mic, like, Alexis, you mad?
Yeah.
You do that with anybody else, but you will not do that with me.
Yes.
And that meant that me and my friend, and this has happened on different occasions with my friends.
Hold on, Lex. We got like 10 seconds.
Okay. Be honest.
Yes. Be honest. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Alexis, I love you. Y'all have a good night.